Yeah! Happy Comic Book Day and welcome back, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is USComicsCast, HQ for all things comic book connected. We are Jon and Charlie Rivera, the co-founders of US Comics. Charlie, sicko, happy Comic Book Day.
And happy Comic Book Day to you and to everyone listening and watching today. As always, we are brought to you by Bad Mary Band and Sergeant Finesse Gaming. If you haven't done so already, please smash that like and or follow button and hit that comment section like you gotta cut loose, foot loose, kick off your Sunday shoes.
Charlie. We are being copyrighted as we speak. You gotta relax, son. You gotta relax with that Kevin Bacon goodness. So Charlie, as you cough yourself to literal pieces, I'm gonna go ahead and make the presumption that you have taken in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
I took in that holiday special the same way I took in the flu, aggressively and often.
After 2 drinks and some questionable decision making while you were waiting for an Uber? Yeah, no,
that is correct.
Just a little bit of transparency. Charlie and I actually watched this shit together, so I'm asking him questions that I already know the answer to. Never mind the fact that the art was pre-made, but that remains to be discussed. Our little deception, because we love you, but we don't really want to hurt you. Charlie,
and we don't really respect you?
No, not at all. Not at all. This is purely sexual, folks. Purely sexual. So, all of you, no Christmas before Thanksgiving, wah, crybabies, can go ahead and shut up because we have put Turkey Day in our rear view mirror. We are staring down the barrel of the holidays, of which Christmas was at the center of the Guardians of the Galaxy special. Charlie and I took it in together. I hope all you mother suckers did too, because I promise you, this gonna be spoiler heavy. Go ahead and fast forward or put us on mute for a good 20 minutes or so, because there are specific things that I intend to talk about.
Before you start rolling, and I don't know if it's because I don't feel well, but I just very, very briefly, 20 seconds is all I need.
Do it.
I'm over you guys bitching about shit that's relatively free. If you do not have the time to take in 30 minutes of a Guardian of the Galaxy holiday special, that again is basic. You have fucking Disney Plus, idiot. Fucking stop, loser.
Unless they don't, or unless they actually have
lives,
eat
a dick.
So they cannot. All right, so Charlie,
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. You're busy being loved and having fucking fun. Go fuck yourself.
Charlie's inner lung maladies have risen up past the bile and attitude that normally reside there, and is just now coming directly out of his mouth hole. So he don't mean it. We realize you have things going on.
Go fuck yourselves.
Charlie, I'm trying to fool them, dude.
No!
Relax. Tone it down. First of all, you get us
Star-Lord dies at the end. Star-Lord dies at the end. He said, why isn't Christ in Christmas? And Groot shot him in the fucking face.
Charlie is just firing off with a front bow. He's just popping shots off like Bruce the Shark is swimming by, and he's got a good solid half dozen yellow barrels behind him, which he don't. I'm the yellow barrel, and I am not going to keep that shark up on the water. But that all being said, obviously we did take in the Guardians Holiday Special, and it's very interesting, Charlie. I'll be honest, I did not think that it was going to be particularly well received, but I was wrong, man. People are digging on the special.
Spoiler alert, you and I might like it the least.
Interesting.
Because both of us, our initial...
Just speak for yourself. Officially, you didn't, quote unquote, didn't like it?
No, I liked it.
Oh, okay.
But I saw on the internet, people were like, this is the greatest thing Marvel ever did. And I'm like, this is one of the weakest things I've enjoyed that Marvel did.
Well, because you're a habitual monster list maker.
Yeah, definitely. I thought too much Mantis. I had about 28 minutes of Mantis love in me, and they went 43.
Oof.
And I felt like it was like when I'm on the show, and like you have to step away, and I'm just like bantering with myself. Too much Charlie. Too much tuna, too much Charlie, a little too much Mantis. With that being said, I thought it was adorable. I'm a sucker for Christmas specials. But I feel about almost every single Christmas special the way I felt about this one. I'm like, I'm glad this exists. Also, it was a little much.
Okay.
Like, it felt like every Peanuts Christmas stories. There are like 50 of them. I get it, bro. No hair, the tree's sad looking. You learn a lesson. Come on. We could get through this a little bit
just
quicker.
Like a very snazzy jazz soundtrack playing underneath all of it. Snoopy could clearly have ended the special in about 2 minutes if he chose to get involved, unlike he did in the last 2 minutes. But that all being said, the Snoopy in this did not show up at all. So, I mean, like, you know, Drax and Mantis, if the trailers taught you nothing, you know that this is really the Drax and Mantis show. And I kind of said as much while we were watching it, which might have been a little unfair or a premature opinion, but turned out that, you know, it kind of held true for me. Drax and Mantis they're clearly company members, right? There are certain characters that are so far above and beyond a group that they may have spun out of that they just can't be contained anymore. One might argue that Peter Quill is borderline that type of a character, but there are certainly other characters that could easily step away from the group dynamic and be their own thing, and you'd be totally fine with it. Give me more Gamora. Give me more fucking, even Groot and Rocket. They could go off and have their own separate Calvin and Hobbes type adventures, and I would be pleased as punch. Drax and Mantis, for me, they're more like one-trick ponies, which are fantastic, when they're doing that particular trick in the group dynamic. This gave them center stage. Like, this allowed them to run. Granted, they were trying to run down my man Kevin Bacon, but run they did. So, did you feel that, like, kind of like the gag went on too long for you? Or, I mean, again, this to me, at least from my kind of like quick overview, this was like universally beloved.
Yeah, so again, and that's where the specifics of how I love shit comes into play.
Yeah.
Because I'm on record, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the best things Marvel ever did.
Sure.
I think it was one of the very first big changes to the Marvel formula that's like let an artist be an artist. That has led to some of my other favorites. Thor Ragnarok only exists because of how wonderful Guardians was. With that being said, I'm with Cousin Paul. Like, I will throw this on every year, and I'll have a big Cheshire cat smile now that I know what it is. If they had called this Guardians of the Galaxy a very Mantis Christmas, I would have been far more prepared for, like, oh, Quill's not in this motherfucker really at all.
Right.
Oh, like Rocket and Groot, like they're there, but like very background characters. It was less Peanuts, it was more Charlie Brown. I just didn't know who the Charlie Brown was. So the fact that it took what for me is a package that it works like a boy band. It works like the Power Rangers. It works like, any group. I'm expecting the whole thing. If I tune in to football and it's just the kicker and the quarterback.
No, this was their time to shine, so to speak. It also gave me kind of an impression that, like, look, James Gunn knew how he was using these particular performers. It leads me to believe the upcoming Guardians 3 is going to be just like the first two, it's going to be Peter Quill centric. Going to be Peter Quill, Star-Lord, and company. And just kind of like these interjections here and there of these other characters, because I would never have said, oh yeah, Mantis and Drax, they are secondary characters. I'd be like, no, they're like third off the bench, so to speak. And this gave them that center stage, which I appreciated, because I think James knows. I mean, I just call him because he's they're running DC
buddy.
now. We're on a first name basis. James Gunn knows. He's like, okay, they're gonna have to pull back a little bit and relinquish that spotlight.
Yeah.
Did you feel that same way? Like,
100%.
Did this give you, in addition to be like, oh yeah, the Christmas feelings, now the turkey is digested, now we can kind of look ahead. I was looking ahead to May of 23 because Guardians is dropping. Now I know, okay, there's going to be certain things that have been established, and James Gunn kind of said as much upon a little bit of homework by yours truly. He's like, look, we're going to be laying a foundation for what to expect in 3. We now know they have this base of operations. Spoiler alert, they in essence own the fucking pink slip for nowhere. Cosmo,
mercenary sons of bitches, yeah.
Maybe my new favorite Guardian is officially part. The only thing that I really could have used a little bit for Cosmo was some legitimate Guardians gear. He's still kind of like gussied up.
It's got to be coming.
Like a Russian trout.
Maybe that's the crowning moment for me. You know what this really did? This programmed me for the future of the Guardians. Guardians of the Galaxy is going to wrap up the trilogy, I hope, spectacularly.
And that's it.
I do suspect, well, it's Disney. It'll never be over. It might be over for James Gunn. It might be over for the team. But I think the brand of Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be an ever-expanding net. I think it's going to represent more and more people. I think if you want Stallone back in the MCU, that's going to be with a Guardians banner.
Yeah, that's like a John and Charlie wish list. I honestly,
but think of the smaller characters. You might lose the voice actor for Rocket. You're never losing Rocket. There's money in Rocket memorabilia. You might lose Vin Diesel as Groot. There'll always be Groot. That shit sells.
Right,
and
you won't have Batista. Like he's said as much as like literally never again. I'm not even taking my shirt off anymore to get into the shower. No, with Dunsky.
I suspect all of that is subject to the right check, because I think the Guardians are going to be in Secret Wars. I think the Guardians are going to be in Kang Dynasty, and I think both Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty and a lot of what Marvel has cooking is begging for this easy opportunity to recast. So I think a lot of these cats who maybe don't want to stick around, we might get Groot 2.0. We might get a new looking Rocket. We might certainly get Dave's replacement. And he's even made it very public. He won't take offense. The character he wants to go on, he just doesn't necessarily want to work out.
To me, that's like these performers who played a particular role who are like, that would be like the Mantis, and this hasn't happened, but I'm going to use this as an example. That's like the actress, and forgive me because her name slips my mind, but that would be like the Mantis actress saying, I think she should have her own movie. Well, of course you do, but I would argue that like almost nobody in the ticket buying public is having that thought. You're like, that's a character that works best in the group dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of that. So like when an actor says, oh yeah, this character should do, you didn't come up with the character, you didn't write the damn character. Take your check, thank you very much, I bought the merch, I'll see you in the next thing. Like that does not play for me, so to speak. But my question to you, Charlie, is in as much as this is like a very fun thing, I'm hopeful that we'll see them again. Give me the Easter special. Kevin Bacon made me a promise. He said, I'll see you at Easter. And nobody calls my boy a liar.
He made that fucking Kevin Bacon game so much easier now.
Huh.
What is that, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever?
Indeed.
Because now it just crosses over with fucking everybody in the MCU.
Well, I mean, almost everyone is in the MCU, including myself. So I mean, like, look, at this point, the game became much easier. You're right.
I also think you undercut, or not undercut. That's the wrong word. Blame the flu. I think you are a little bit misguided in Disney's ability to make that money because the actors don't want to do it. James Gunn is busy saving DC. Animate that bitch. You want to talk about an Easter special that might happen? You know, it could be done fucking quick. An animated special.
Well, sure.
Oh, tack it on to the What If team.
You clearly don't need the original actors to do the voices. I mean, you know what?
Hey, you ready, Disney? I'll do this for minimum wage. I am Groot. I am Groot.
Can I just say, because I don't want to get too far away from the actual
I am Groot.
Special. Let me ask you, who does a soundtrack better than James Gunn? Like, one of the things that I'm most excited about, obviously kind of like the idea of like tying certain seemingly unconnected storylines together. I'm so excited about the upcoming DC projects soundtracks under the watchful eye and ear of James Gunn, because James Gunn and Edgar Wright do a soundtrack like basically nobody else for me, and I might even give
Quentin.
I might give Quentin like the honorable mention in
Kevin.
this case.
Kevin Smith puts together a
good,
nice
but
soundtrack.
He puts together a nice soundtrack. That's true.
But we're filling the category now because I do think it is a two horse race.
Okay.
And you know, as much as Baby Driver, one of the greatest soundtracks of all time, if you go down to like which creative genius makes the soundtrack and which movie makes more money, James Gunn is going to be undisputed, right?
I'm going to go with my man Joker Stream right here.
First
Tom
of all,
Cruise is the answer for every question if there's a positive affirmation involved. I'm with you, Joker. I'm with you, buddy.
You keep teaming up with the Joker.
That's what I do, man.
You're borderline Harley Quinn at this point, bro. And listen,
Please,
just because you lost...
dude, please.
If you could only have that much market share...
Sure.
That's why Joker turned on Harley. It's because he fucking started getting outsold.
Yeah, it was a jealousy thing.
I get it.
We all know this.
I get it.
Second rate.
I think not only do I think it was just absolutely wonderful, the holiday special, for me more than anything else, I hope we just get more.
It's mutual, Joker. We love you too, brother.
I do love Joker, but I love the notion of Marvel having so much fucking money and them just constantly being like, how do we keep monetizing shit? These specials, for me, specials are genius.
They're 2 for 2.
One and dones?
They're two for two. And obviously, Werewolf by Night, they have no intention of burying that puppy in the backyard.
But also, what a great way. What if
way.
it sucked? Let's just 2 seconds to take no, but I'm talking about that as a good thing. You don't have to commit me to 8 weeks. You don't have to commit $1 billion. So if someone says, let's fucking do Little Nova, right? Little Kid Nova from the Nova Corps.
Right.
Do a special of just that little shithead getting the helmet. No one likes it. Never bring that motherfucker up again.
Well, but here's the thing, and this I will say, this was not masterminded by the mouse. This was like a James Gunn wish list, like a fucking make me happy, I'm out the door type of wish fulfillment, because not only did he kind of Trojan horse a lot of the information. That was from an article. I did not make that up. He Trojan horsed a lot of information for us for the upcoming Guardians 3. But they also filmed this shit, kind of like they pulled a Godfather 1 and 2 on us. So a lot of the sets they literally had just finished using for Guardians. Like, here we are, put on your ugly sweater. Now we're gonna do this now. I think the only thing that they really trotted out that was totally unique for the holiday special, as opposed to Guardians 3, was Kevin Bacon and the old 97s, who the old 97s were the band who we met in their alien form goodness. They were new to me, but I thoroughly enjoyed them from the special to the point where I was like, I know what I'm going to be listening to on YouTube today while I work. They got a ton of really, really good, fun material out there. Look, the bottom line for me as we're kind of up against the clock is that it was just fun. It was just fun. Did it have a different vibe altogether than the Guardians? No. Like, it clearly seemed like a Guardians product. Not just because we were familiar with the names or the actors or the depictions. We got a fully CGI fucking homeboy the way, like, you know, they really should
Good
be.
old Groot.
But it hit on the same notes, like hit on the right notes. But it was just a purely fun ride. Whereas Guardians and Guardians 3 in particular kind of puts us on an emotional roller coaster. This just kind of set the meter to have fun now. This is going to be joyful and kept us there. And I was totally fine with that.
I love it. I love that it moves the needle. I love what it says about the future of not only Disney, but by extension DC, because James Gunn now has proven big screen, medium screen, small screen. I'm a hit home runs.
Yeah,
Take
that's what he
advantage
does,
now.
man.
There might be a time where we look at his work, and again, you know, a lot of people like to try to dunk on a guy whose life I would trade for without question. But Taika eventually had a miss, and we'll see what comes next. James Gunn is still riding high with way more at bats, with this sort of budget, with this sort of material. I'm really, really fucking excited.
Yeah, I
great.
love a planner. Like, I myself, I'm a list maker. I'm a pre-packer. I'm a planner. I'm gonna get to the airport 4 hours before your flight, dude. So when I see a creator like James Gunn who approaches his material the same damn way, you know I love that. But the bottom line, I think, is this: as we are staring at the clock in its face, Kevin Bacon not coming back for an Easter special with whatever iterations of the Guardians that we are going to have left in our toy box at the end of 3. If you don't think that he'll be back for some form of an Easter spectacular, that means you are goddamn liar. Just like that toy boy, Ellis, cover your ears. Earmuffs, big guy, earmuffs. George Toy Boy Lucas is a liar. Why? Because Charlie's on mute, but if he wasn't, you would hear him say, just me by myself, Han shot first. And I'm all kinds of dizzy even before the shot. Clink, salute. Charlie, feel better.
This is just filled with Dayquil.
Oh.
That was my panicked poking.
I have
John,
purely lemon vodka, like as if this video that we're putting out there came with smell-o-vision. This was for you guys. Woo!
Beautiful. John, what's better than a man without fear?
2 men without fear? I don't know.
Damn close, a king. A king without fear.
Oh, the man himself.
I am the most boring reviewer of all time because Chip Chadarsky and his never-ending... You talk about James Gunn never misses. Chip is on his, 7th run with Daredevil. And each one just gets better and better.
Hey, man, practice makes perfect, kid.
Daredevil got married to Lady Daredevil. They are running the fist in more ways than one. Because Matt likes to get down.
Whoa.
John, have you been reading the new Daredevil run?
In particular with Daredevil, he's kind of, for me, has always been one of those characters. Because the runs are so riotously different from one another. I will typically wait for the end of a particular run, put my ear to the rail, i.e. ask Charlie how it was, and if Charlie gives me the thumbs up, then I go and I buy the collected edition version. Like, that's, my bookcases are pretty much filled with just that thing. If something is going on that's particularly hot, I'll check out the digitals, only because space is a factor here. But yeah, so with Daredevil, I will usually wait to find out that if it is indeed a purchasable story, and then I'll go out and buy it as the collected edition. Charlie has already put me on blast. He's like, "Listen, get your wish list ready, son. You're buying this collected."
I cannot believe that they just keep like getting weirder and like more aggressive and more obtuse and yet way more focused. Matt Murdock is no longer an identity being used by Daredevil. He's Daredevil 24/7. Motherfucker's the king of the fist. They're taking on the hand. What a weird sentence. And the thing I love about it, compared to like Batman, whose storytelling wise I've always had the ability to take umbrage with his bullshit. Because Batman traditionally is depicted as like, I'm a loner. I'm the knight. I do this shit alone. Come Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, Batwoman, Alfred, fucking
I'll take
Batmite.
I'll take umbrage with that, Charlie. He says he's a loner all the time, like even more than Pee Wee Herman. But he, much like Pee Wee, he is constantly running with the throng. So I think that they are very much in on the joke. You're like, that's like the first one that says I don't like cats. That's who all the cats in the neighborhood are going to throng to. So I think that the DC writers are very much in on that joke. But it's a fact. I mean, he runs deep. He runs like double digit deep in tweens and teens.
I just got that sounds so inappropriate. Child Protective
It was
Services,
the mustache. It was the mustache.
CPS checks on Bruce Wayne a lot, a lot. I don't want to dive too much into the comic itself. I do think it is the comic that is like must read right now. I am hard pressed. I am on the record on this show. I talked about moving Punisher to Run the Hand was this like silly, lame story. I hate
like
his design.
Giving Punisher superpowers. Oh wait.
Exactly. Or making him a Frankenstein or an angel guy with angel bullets. In every
As if
single
Frankenstein
way,
wasn't already an angel.
in every fucking way, I think that they have misunderstood Punisher and his consistent rebranding, right? I think Daredevil, they keep finding new ways of magnifying aspects of his personality that fit perfectly. This is like his 12th time in charge of a ninja gang. And John, he's 12 for 12. All 12 stories are fucking bangarang. He is on his like 35th redesign. There's been a couple misses. Armored Daredevil is not a look I'll miss. His new look, is it his best?
No.
I know you're not a fan of the hood, but he doesn't have to worry about it getting in his eyes.
That's a valid point. I'm particularly not a fan of the hood mask combination. I'm like, come on, man, pick a lane. Like, this is the equivalent of the half long hair, half shaved head look that a lot of the tough girl
That was
ladies
my
had
haircut
going on.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. That's specifically what I'm talking about. No, I'm not a fan at all of hood mask. Now, here's the thing. It's not. Well, I'm still gonna call him Matt. He'll always be Matt to me.
Well, he is Matt.
But I don't
just because you don't use the moniker doesn't mean like your mama named you Matt. I'ma call you Matt.
Well, but here's the thing, and this is part.
And
of
his mama was like, "You're Matt," and threw him to a priest and fucked off. What
like,
a bitch!
Here, radiation puddle. Take that.
Oh, are those turtles? Fucked off.
It was interesting to me because you had, when we're talking about topics and stuff like that, you're like, yeah, he's not using the Matt Murdock moniker anymore. And very often we'll have the conversations again as huge DC fans that's the kind of the spring from which a lot of these conversations, if not most of them, a lot, if not most, those are the same thing. The majority of these conversations come from, at what point are you the hero as opposed to the fucking like the secret name that people don't associate with. Like, is he Daredevil in his heart, or is he Matt Murdock? So there are so like Superman or Clark Kent, Batman or fucking Bruce Wayne. I think the argument, like, no, he's Batman. Like,
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne is a total affectation, whereas like he's not Clark Kent or Superman. He's Kal-El. Kal-El is legitimately both. I mean, this is how you make distinctions between certain literary characters in 4-color funny books. So I'm going to ask you, Charlie, as the resident blind lawyer expert, who is he? Is he Matt Murdock? Is he Daredevil? Is he hooded guy with the fucking horny mask underneath? Like, who is this cat?
You know what I think I love about Daredevil, and I love about the last few runs of Daredevil, is they've explored a person finding that answer.
Ellis knows.
He's been finding that answer and changing his mind on it for a while. Right now, this version of Matt, he is truly, he is in every single way. This motherfucker thinks he's the fist of God. Like, he is on a mission
so he's like
from God.
He's a third thing. Just give a shout out to Paul real quick, because he put that conversation in check real quick. Yes, indeed, Paul. Dr. Doom does sport the hood and mask combo quite nicely. I would argue, though, depending on the artist behind the pencil, a lot of times it's a hood and helmet combination. Totally different fabrics. You're not dealing with a static clean situation. So I'm gonna give you partial credit for that, Paul. But Dynamite drop in.
So I think right now what's interesting is I think Daredevil is a king. I think when he looks in the mirror, he is doing the Lord's work. But I think he's Daredevil. I think he's I think he's like the fist of God. I think he would consider this a third thing.
Well, he's been there before too.
Yeah. And what I love about it, though, is I do think it proves something that I find very interesting, and I'm very, very curious. I'm curious what you think. Do you think? Stop enjoying the comment section.
Sorry, they're very good tonight. They're very good.
The thing I love about this run on Daredevil is that it had me really think about, can the movies and the TV shows ever get as fucking bonkers as the comics? Because traditionally, I think people look at the comics, and the one criticism one of the foundational building blocks of US comics were all the things we didn't like about comics.
Yes.
And because comics in a perfect world go on forever, Superman eventually has to just look like Superman again. Batman eventually has to look like Batman again. You can't change it too much. Superman's son might be Superman right now.
Right.
Kal-El will be Superman again.
And he's back. But and when you say looks like, you mean in terms of like character.
The classic aesthetic.
You mean aesthetic?
I mean,
also.
Robot Batman ain't going to be around for 20 years. Right. Motherfucker's going to be around for a couple years max.
Sure.
Superman might rock navy for a few years. He'll be back in the royal blues with his panties on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting about Daredevil and characters on his level, C-list characters, B-list characters, they have an opportunity to change and, like, never change all the way back. Daredevil will eventually be a lawyer again, but, like, there's not putting all of Pandora's box isn't getting refilled with everything. Matt has constantly evolved and revolved, and short of reboots, short of we're starting over, a cataclysm happens, and now everyone's back, you have an opportunity with a character like Matt Murdock that I'm not sure the movies and television will ever have the balls enough to do, which is wildly change the status quo. Now,
yeah,
we are in real time learning how true that is. Because what are the next Avengers going to look like? And are we just counting down until we get another white guy as Captain America? Another white guy in armor?
The same guy.
What's that?
I said the same guy, Captain America.
Yeah, I just think it's it's interesting how fucking bonkers the Daredevil book has gotten.
You know, for me, Charlie,
And could that work on a big and small screen?
Just if I can just interject really quickly, honestly, this storyline, Matt Murdock kind of takes over the other, like, that is prime small screen storytelling. It really, really is. And when people say, like, don't meet your heroes, I would say that's bullshit. Meet your heroes, because that says as much about you and your hero picking ability as it does the individual themselves. But that all being said, I have now had the opportunity to speak to, in close proximity, Mr. Kevin Smith twice. I am 0 for 2 in talking about what I want to talk about with the man. Ultimately, what I want to talk to him about is, and nobody steal my question, I want to talk to him about Guardian Devil, because we all know what Kevin Smith has done in black and white and in color on the big screen. However, his work on Daredevil, for me, is the best work that has been done with him, because number one, it uses stuff like from that character's background, and puts it to the forefront of the storytelling process, while still incorporating jumping around from building to building, having these kind of like inner monologues, deciding what he wants to do. Daredevil is one of these characters. He's not a black and white decision making dude. He's like, oh, my fucking radar sense is tingling, and he'll throw down. There's no thinking about that. Fight him in the hallway, good luck. However, when he's kind of piecing things together, he does it like a lawyer would. He's putting the case together for what his action should be next. What Kevin Smith did with him, I'm not going to bore anybody who is unfamiliar with the Guardian Devil run. If you haven't read it, if Daredevil's not your particular cup of tea, read Guardian Devil and come back to me, because it is some of the best work that's ever been done with this character. That being said, though, Charlie, Guardian Devil would be wasted on the small screen. Guardian Devil needs to be a big trilogy screen, maybe 2 movies. I can see that happening. However, don't do it if it's not going to be Kevin Smith involved, especially if you're not going to give Kevin Smith the credit for conceiving of the story. That's like my big push. That's what I want to see when the companies, especially the bigs, when they come around and they adapt a storyline from the comic books. They feel like, well, I can just go ahead and I can take a little bit here, a little piece there. Part of the reason why I'm not maybe as excited about Secret Wars coming, as I could be, because I know that they're going to be,
because you've seen Age of Ultron. You know that they're taking the name, they're taking some beats, and then they're mixing in. They have the mixing bowl. They're like, we're going to take from fucking this, we're going to take from that.
I would rather them not touch it than to sully it by
you want an adaptation.
That's what I want. I want an adaptation.
Want a proper
I want
adaptation.
A stamp of the creator that came up with it, even if they didn't come up with the characters from scratch. That's what I want.
That's fucking very interesting, though.
That's the adaptation. So what you're talking about with this, sure, absolutely, I can see this being adapted for something like, maybe a season 2 of Born Again, or whatever the hell the new series is going to be called. If you can kind of work in some smashing, maybe he's 2-timing with She-Hulk. Like, I don't know where he's gonna go. He's crazy. The guy's out of his mind.
See, let me actually bring up a very specific question for you, though.
Yeah.
So, it didn't even occur to me, the Marvel method. The Marvel method, they've truly made billions by these smash cakes. They're not following recipes. Like Ellis is saying, the DC cartoons did a ton of relative
adaptations.
And even those have some big misses, though. Death of Superman has never been told well, and they've told that bitch twice animated. I have no faith in them ever properly telling that story.
Yeah.
Because I think it might just be too big.
Potentially.
Now, what's interesting about some of these Daredevil stories, specifically this one,
yeah,
if you told Charlie We're going to do it. We are going to, for season 2 of the Daredevil Disney show, we're going to head down this direction. Part of me, maybe because I've been trained, and maybe because I hate myself.
Maybe both.
What if you did put She-Hulk in that Elektra type role? Like, what if the queen to king fucking Daredevil? Because knowing the Marvel method, and I can't get what I want, which what I want is a proper adaptation, overseen by the original creator of that run. Don't need them to direct, don't need them to write. I need them in the writing room. I need them to help inject the soul of the story in there.
Yeah.
But I love this story, and I love this version of Elektra. I think this is the best Elektra's ever been. Part of me is like, how fucking interesting would it be with the parts that we have in play?
Yeah.
What if you did fucking roll with She-Hulk in the role? Because the one interesting thing about the TV and these cinematic universes is they're so relatively rushed. They have not taken their time to earn some of these turns, right? I thought Tony Stark being like a fucking drunk on the edge in the second movie, I think that was a bad decision.
Dude, that's so wasted. Was it a Demon in the Bottle? Is like the kind of name of that arc. Truth be told, that to tease it, that was the biggest example of comic book blue balls that I have ever been given by anything in a theater.
It's so funny.
That was rough.
They had so little faith in the Marvel properties at that time. They got scared away by the Will Smith drunken superhero movie. So that's why they were like, let's less of that.
Hancock.
But also, for Iron Man 2, doing Demon in a Bottle, I stand by as a bad idea. It was too soon.
Well, but the thing about it though, Charlie, is that Iron Man was always a means to an end.
True.
For the Avengers team up.
Why did I say true like that?
I'm not sure. You're in your lawyer.
True.
You're in your lawyer
True.
mode.
I was that bonus scene in She-Hulk where everyone got mad because she was twerking.
Charlie
you guys don't like green twerking, you racist. Yeah.
But let me say this, just to kind of answer the point that you put out there. I don't need quite as much. I'm not as needy. I'm not as comic book needy as you are. I don't need my writer to kind of like have the over everybody's head fucking baton that I can whack them on the top of the head if they're not doing the right thing. No. However, if Charlie goes out and Charlie writes a bomb version,
I'm Charlie.
Of pick your Charlie writes a Blue Beetle storyline. I'm like, Charlie, this is great. Everybody loved it. It sold like hotcakes. We're gonna adapt this into the Blue Beetle holiday special. But you know how you took that relationship with, I don't know, plug in any character that you want. Booster Gold, right? And you like, okay, this is the relationship, this is the story, this is what's gonna happen, blah blah blah. And in the end, when the dust settles, this is what's gonna mean. And then I say, Charlie, that was dynamic, we love it, but we are gonna go ahead and replace Booster Gold with fucking Black Vulcan, like whatever. Fill in whoever you want to fill in. And then I say, as the viewer, well, you know what? Don't bother, because that was not the source material that I loved. However, and this is a big hall pass, if they say, hey, that thing that you love that Charlie Rivera wrote, we are adapting it, we are swapping out this person for that person, but don't worry, because Charlie himself is involved. That's when I would need the original conceiver to kind of have the baton and start smacking heads. Because if I say to you as the owner of the property, okay, we need to switch this for that, do it. You were the scientist. You originally came up with the recipe, but guess what? I have a fucking allergy to shrimp, and you made a shrimp scatchatori. Make it different for me, because I'm the ultimate end user. Then I would say, okay, if Charlie changed the recipe himself as the original chef doing his thing in the kitchen, then I couldn't possibly take umbrage with it. But unless that exact set of circumstances is the case, I'm not interested. I don't want to. I don't want it. I don't want it.
What?
Send it back to the kitchen.
And that's a proper.
Ellis is right. I will also take Ambush Bug as
Ellis,
a substitute.
no, don't be too proud of Ellis. He just called you out. So if a creator's involved, it's okay for changes, like Han shooting first.
Well, here's the thing. You can't
the backpedal
adapt
of the century.
No, it's not a backpedal at all, because a movie adaptation of a movie
It's already done.
Is you're doing it outside of what you've already told your audience was the truth.
Lawyered. Well done. I'm proud of you.
Foggy, bill him. This one ain't a freebie.
Last thing I want to say before moving on and paying our bills. Absolutely. If you like comics.
I do like comics.
Daredevil, the Red Fist Saga. We're on issue 5.
It'll be the best. I was just going to ask you what the hell the run was called.
The Red Fist Saga. They started at number 1 again because fucking Marvel loves money.
Number 1 to Mirth more.
Could not be fucking easier to jump on board. Get it digital, get it physical. In February, the volumized version drops. Get that bitch pre-ordered at your comic book shop. But honestly, this story is so good. I think you want it in singles if you're a comic collector. If not,
damn, Ellis came after me. Charlie coming after me. Jeez Louise.
If not though, make that shit happen. Make that shit that needs to be in your life. It is so dynamically a unique Daredevil story. I think it, however, despite being so weird and so different, Chip fucking knows Matt.
Chip knows.
He knows
bro.
Daredevil.
Chip knows.
This is such a great.
That should be his
take.
Custom license plate. Chip knows.
He really fucking should. It's wonderful. It is absolutely one of the best things ever. One of the other best things ever is when we are able to do this show and we don't fucking find ourselves crushed under the weight of all these bills. The sad thing is though, I'm a comic book fan.
Crushed. I'm still being crushed, Charlie. What are you talking about?
Because I'm a comic book fan, I have fucking morals. And like the king of the fist himself, I'm not going to sell out to some fucking bullshit bed company that's going to throw me a couple... Oh, and I'm not going to try to sell you a plot of land, and then it turns out they were fucking kidding. I saw your commercial, Scotland, plot of land, now you're a sir or lad. It turned out that was all bullshit. They were like, it's a parody gift. Motherfucker, you said I had a foot of land.
Yeah.
Give me my money back.
Not like my legitimate acre of the moon.
I fucking bought everyone on my Christmas list. That shit. I'm disputing all those charges. No, you don't have to worry about this the arguing with charges about our good sponsors. One of which is one of our absolute favorite bands, Bad Mary. You heard them during the intro. You're going to see a music video of them at the end. If you're wondering where else you can catch their act, you can follow them over at Bad Mary Band across all social media platforms. You can support them over on patreon.com/Bad Mary. You can stay up to date at badmary.com for merch and upcoming performances. But my favorite part is their entire discography is available on every single music streaming service. So if you listen to this podcast, you can queue up Bad Mary right after, and you should do both of those things.
Damn straight. You should also ask yourself, where we dropping with Sergeant Finesse is the answer. You can find him in gaming exclusively nowadays on Facebook, though he did make a special guest appearance today on Trovo. Go figure. He's an enigma. Multiple streams every day. Outstanding video game content, supporter games, co-streams, giveaways, contests. Don't be a sucker. Check him out today. When Sarge is on deck, you salute. GG's to that. Charlie.
Yeah, I didn't spill most of my drink all over me just now.
Well, let's also go ahead and throw a shout out to the sharpest mustache on the podcast today. Guys, don't forget today is the last day of Movember. The reason why I'm rocking this solid Bronson-esque mustache. So like I said, if you care about anything about the men's health and awareness, you go ahead and check out Movember. I'm not going to do a link because that's not how I roll. But Charlie did go ahead and throw a challenge out to everybody. We will post.
Yeah, if
Charlie?
you post proof, If you post the proof, I'm auditioning for Mario because everyone hates Chris Pratt. If you post proof that
Everybody
you did
hates
in
him.
fact donate to Mustache Movember, I'll send you one of my Ghostbuster Group's patches. Normally
They're
go
good.
for
They're good
$10.
ones.
I'm going to send you one for free, but also in this very last at-bat, if you get it done in these last couple days before December takes over, I'll also put you in the sweepstakes to win one of our Proton packs.
Wow.
So you donate anything. Now, don't be...
Can I join that?
Don't be a chump. You can.
Nice.
Don't be a chump. I'm gonna make it a $5 minimum donation to Movember, but please donate more if you can. You'll get yourself a random patch. May not be this one, but it'll be a cool one, and you'll be entered to win a Proton pack. So I'll be donating on your behalf
I hope
$15
Charlie wins.
to Toys for Tots.
Very
That's
nice.
how goddamn cool. But you have to post proof on our Twitter, our Instagram, or our Facebook. John,
That's how we do.
I am done shilling.
Nice.
I'm gonna put a cough
Charlie
drop in my mouth.
He began this segment
I look
about
like a
he
fucking mess.
doesn't show. Yeah, no, you're.
I look like a hobo.
Yeah, it's true. But we've grown quite used to it. Those of us who watch the podcast, as opposed to just listening. But hey, we love you all. Look, here we are. We are right in that sweet spot. The mustache zone, one might say, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. We are putting Thanksgiving to bed. We are staring down the barrel of Christmas. Probably no one did that as well as The Nightmare Before Christmas. And Jack Skellington himself could not have traversed that fucking landscape. It's scary, Charlie. It is scary out there. But now, this year, we have the gift of transition, and she comes with her unblinking eyes, jet black, pigtailed hair. Oof, Charlie, it's too creepy, man. It's too creepy. Wednesday Addams has dropped. They dropped all the episodes like Netflix likes to do. And Charlie, I'm not even going to drag it out. Charlie, I loved the series, man.
I'm so glad.
The series. I watched the whole series. Now, anyone who knows me, you know who else had a dope mustache like this? Gomez Addams, of whom I played to some acclaim. Certainly tried to kill multiple members in the pit when my sword broke halfway through a string and went flying down into the pit. I'm sorry, pit musicians. I'm very, very sorry. Wasn't my fault. But yeah, everybody who knows me knows of my affinity specifically for Gomez Addams and the entire Addams clan.
Nice.
So when I knew that when this series was coming out, I was cautiously optimistic. Purely, if only purely on the performance, on the ability and the believability of Miss Jenna Ortega. Charlie, this show is a must watch. I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to speak in Charlie language because Charlie is a list-making motherfucker.
True.
Wednesday, the series, was everything that Sabrina was not.
I was so excited for Sabrina.
Yeah, me too.
The comic it was based on was hot fire.
Coming straight out of the Archie universe.
I would argue the first episode was dope, and then that show fell off. So I watched the first episode of Wednesday, and I was like, all right, to take a cue off of Ellis,
yeah, I'm gonna
he
leave
brings
that
up
the
late great, the phenomenal Raul Julia, who in my heart and mind, even though my brother has played the character, is Raul Julia is Gomez to me. When I think of Gomez Addams, it's the same as when I think of Superman. I'll think of Chris Reeve forever. With that being said, I'm a big fan of, if you can't emulate, right? If the decision is, my poor assistant, you can just... Yeah.
I hope she's bringing you a towel.
Whoa.
Dribbling some a bitch.
We had to request to show off stuff, so... that was not worth the effort. Don't tell my assistant that. If you can't
She
emulate,
watches the show.
yeah, if you can't emulate it, you have to go different. And sometimes going different is going back to the roots. So I actually really like the choice of Gomez Addams being more in line with the new cartoon version, the classic cartoon look. I'm a big fan of them not just trying to pump out someone else doing a Raul Julia impersonation. I think that would have been a bad call. So every aspect of this show, I think so far has made the right decision. And I was so happy and so satisfied when episode 2 was as good as episode 1 for me.
Right. So you're 2 episodes in.
3.
So you're 3
Episode 3, keeping the train alive, baby. Still good.
So let me say this, because we kind of covered a lot of ground there. I too, when you say the Addams family, my immediate thought goes to Gomez Addams. So my thought is, due to also the Raul Julia performance, Gomez Addams is the central cog in the Addams family. As amazing as Angelica Houston was, and Christina Ricci, and really everybody in those pair of movies. Ellis mentioned freaking
Tim Curry.
What's his face? Tim Curry, and I love Tim Curry. This was not a role for him, I think. We've had a lot of good Gomez's though, like even Sean Astin, the original TV iteration, and we had an animated version with my man Oscar Isaacs, but to me, I'm like, yep, Addams family at the center, at the core, and this is not self-serving in any way, just a little bit maybe. But it was, Gomez Addams is the beating heart of the show. That's changed for me. I've worn the pinstripes and the mustache. It's
you wore
Wednesday.
it so goddamn well.
I mean,
my second
lying.
favorite Gomez Addams, ladies and gentlemen.
The heart and soul is Wednesday Addams, and it may very well be because she wants to separate from the clan, from the creepy kooky son of bitches. I'm not entirely sure. However, I will say this: that initial thought, just to get back to what you were talking about, of Luis Guzman, he portrays Gomez in it, and you're right.
Fucked up teeth and all.
It's far more the original Charles Addams cartoon depiction. Look, I had no problem with it until he started acting. You can love a show, and
you didn't like it.
I love this show. I love this show, Charlie. Even though it, for me, at the same time, probably went on one episode too long,
Interesting.
and simultaneously ended too
good to know.
quick. The way that they kind of wrap things up for me, I was like, you could have taken a little longer with that, but you could have also cut a whole episode out of it, and I would have not at all been the worse for it. Matter of fact, probably would have been better. The Luis Guzman performance, also a homegirl who I was in love with. They keep on casting her in these kind of pseudo Latin roles, even though she's not Latin. I think she's what is she, Dutch or something weird. I know she's married to a 112-year-old man.
We're talking about Morticia?
Good for her on that account. But fucking damn,
she's not Latin?
No.
The fuck is that awful accent she has?
Well, actors, they'll do that. They'll sometimes speak in way accents that are not their own. I didn't particularly Kathleen. I'm sorry, I'm just reading.
Kathy Zeet is one of the greatest abbreviations of Catherine Zeta-Jones.
I'm sorry.
Yo, what up, Kathy Zeet? Kathy Zeet rolls with the Funktown Boys.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. But look, the bottom line is this: that didn't matter. Even though I didn't love their particular depictions, I'll put it that way. That's probably a better way to speak about an actor's performance. I didn't love their particular depictions. I didn't have a problem with how they were written. I didn't love those particular performances. But it didn't matter, Charlie, because Wednesday was so freaking good. She was so good, and truth be told, You know me, like my policy was like, look, you can't just sit there and say, meh, 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 I didn't like it. You know what? Then do better. I will have done better because what I would have done for you, and anyone who's not caught up on the show, I'm not.
I love how you were challenged by imaginary you.
Oh yeah, by myself. I'm a finger pointing son of a bitch. Everyone who knows anything at all about the series, if you haven't watched it all yet, I can't blame you. I realize not everybody took their bathroom breaks to kind of catch up.
No excuse.
Yeah, no, that's valid, Charlie. I got no problem putting these people on blast. You know me.
Dude, if anyone didn't finish the whole series already, they're fucking... Oh, I'm one of them. I didn't finish the series yet.
Oh, it's true. But everybody knows, like, pretty much everyone from the family is represented. Actually, not... cousin, you don't see cousin. That's a pretty mild spoiler. However, we do indeed get Fester, and Fester debatably was kind of like stole the show. In the movies, I mean, again, for my money, Raul Julia is everything.
Yeah.
However, debatably, he stole the show. I mean, like only Doc Brown could do. And we do get him in a very, very small, a small kind of like almost like not almost literally a guest starring situation. But we get him in the form of Fred Armisen. Took me a second. So Fred Armisen shows up as Gomez. Charlie, I would have far
not as Gomez, as Fester.
As Fester, rather, but my brain is ahead of my fucking mouth. Because I would have cast Fred Armisen as Gomez.
I could see that.
He would have been a picture-perfect Gomez, specifically for this adaptation of the material. He would have been dynamite.
You don't think you had to go visually much different?
No.
Okay.
Nope, not
Asked
at all.
and answered.
Not at all. Because the thing about it is...
I would argue that
nobody is familiar with the cartoon, with the comic strip at this point.
Well, but
People
the new cartoon was tremendously popular.
Yeah, but an animated is an animated. It's like nobody looks how they're supposed to look. You know, freaking Catherine Zeet, she didn't look like a pencil wearing a black dress either with spider fucking spider
That's
legs.
fair. For me, I think I would have been distracted by anyone not named Raul Julia or John Rivera.
Well, yeah, but unfortunately that I didn't get the call, and our man Raul is in a place of honor right now back in his native Puerto Rico. However, one might ask, if you bother to listen to my rant, well, okay, if you're going to cast Fred Armisen then as Gomez, because again, they did not have a ton to do. So even in that limited capacity, I would argue, yeah, well, if you're going to give them a small window in which to operate, Fred Armisen's the perfect guy. He can do a lot in a little. I mean, literally, his body is a lot with a little. So he would have been a far preferable casting to Luis Guzman, who I love in the things that I love him in.
Would you have just flipped him? Would you have tried...
Nope. Nope.
Who would you have put Fester?
You know who I would have cast as Fester? And this
Charlie
might be
Rivera.
a little bit... Charlie is going to be on standby. You are his stunt double. I would have cast Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, Fester. Can you imagine?
God damn it, that's
would
good
have
casting.
been a step up for him professionally.
And he would have done it. He would have done it because that motherfucker loves money.
He would have done it in a
heartbeat. I think he's already there.
He's got something. But regardless, it would, for me, the second that I had the thought,
he's so good at voices.
I was angry, like the high pitch, like he would have been perfect in the role. He would have been. I think Fred was wasted in the role. I think Fluffy Iglesias would have been perfect in the role. But that's all fan casting stuff. Charlie, let me ask you this: Wednesday, as portrayed by Christina Ricci, which I would argue most people are familiar with the 90s movies.
Yeah.
How did you feel about young Miss Ortega's, not as young as she portrays, just putting this out there for anyone who...
don't say it. Don't say the
wondering,
joke. Don't say the
anyone
joke.
Anyone who was wondering, because she's teeny tiny. She's like 5 foot tall.
I'm
in real life.
uncomfortable with this whole convo.
She's a tiny, tiny little girl. But that being said, Charlie, how did you feel about her portrayal versus Christina Ricci? Because I know with you, it's always this or that list making.
I think there is an elephant in the room with characters like this, right? Because you can't go in and not know there's going to be a hot topic joke. There is no getting away with, like, she's this goth girl. Oh, she's different because she's goth. And the first episode, the pilot episode, even has, like, a joke of, like, we get the spooky act, which I thought was, like, wonderful to throw in. Because literally the plot revolves around this bitch goes to monster school.
Yeah.
Where everyone's kind of a fucking freak.
Right.
And she's still this, like, dark cloud of glory.
Yeah.
I was
they had to customize her uniform because she is that.
Oh my god, I love that she's
vamp.
allergic to color. That is such a I don't really like Tim Burton. Tim Burton isn't a surefire marquee guy for me.
Okay. Well, I mean,
so
this is his biggest hit in years at this point.
And rightfully really so, because I don't think he's that good. With that being said,
I'm not gonna let you fucking barrel. That's crazy talk.
I'm just being mean.
That is like a guy who sits there drooling on himself.
I don't feel good.
All right.
I'm just taking it out on people who have more money and more talent than me.
I mean,
but Tim Burton,
that list,
fuck
Charlie,
you.
that list is
touche. Although Ellis agrees with me, more misses than hits.
Again, it's subjective. It's totally
not subjective to my list that you can find on www.paypal.com/Charlie Rivera.
Right. Helena Bonham Carter might disagree with you, but
there, I think she does a transcendent job with a character that's so. Christina Ricci did such an incredible job with those two flicks.
Yeah.
That I think Wednesday Addams is such. It is burnt into the. It is burnt into the fabric of pop culture. That Wednesday Addams dress, that Wednesday Addams character.
Charlie,
before Harley Quinn, there was an army of Wednesdays. You dressed up as Wednesday Addams once?
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I have depicted both Gomez and Wednesday Addams. That's when the hair was long and luxurious. You know what? You make an interesting point. There are certain.
Thank you.
I'm surprised too. There are certain performances that kind of like cement your idea of the character. Now, had they said, okay, we're going to present you with a Wednesday Addams of roughly the same age that you remember her as being in the movies, that could have been problematic. But like I said, in taking this to the next level of a Sabrina. I mean, the other thing is this was also as well as that. I don't want to say typical because like common, I guess is a better way to say it. But like the schoolhouse, the adventures that happen over the year, kind of like collection of characters, younger people. You got the love triangle happening. Like, that could be maybe a dozen shows that have been on air in the last 10 years. Nothing there kind of is attractive, so to speak, to me. It's like, this can't miss television. Even like the dark, creepy, kooky aspect of it.
You weren't into Archie and Friends or whatever the fuck, Riverdale?
I mean, look, you have
that shit was so bad.
You got. I wouldn't know because if something doesn't look good to me, I'm not going to. I don't go in for
you love yourself too much.
Yeah,
it's gross.
Someone got to do it. However, there was a risk factor involved. Like, okay, I like the source material. I hope they don't mess this up. And I was just talking about this with another friend of the show, freaking Justin. Lock and Key hurt me, man.
Yeah.
Lock and Key was yet another kind of like dark, creepy. Lock and Key to me was the anti Umbrella Academy.
That's a great
one
way
elevates
of
material, one shits all over material, And here you have something like coming along like Wednesday, which takes the Addams family, which again holds a special place in my heart. But Charlie, I was ready to be hurt again. Luckily, I was treated ever so. Thing just took me up in his little scarred but manicured hand and just held me and caressed me so lovingly.
Well, you know he's vain.
Charlie, I really enjoyed the series, and the funny thing is the tone was good. I particularly do like Burton, but he kept the tone the right way. He didn't make it exclusively a Burton thing. It was an Addams Family property. That's the way it felt to me.
There's no creepy twisty trees. He fought against Instinct.
Wasn't Sleepy Hollow, right?
Yeah,
Johnny Depp did not show up unless that's Johnny Depp's hand. No, it's not Johnny Depp's hand specifically. We know that it's not. Like there were certain things that he shied away from, which had typically been kind of like his.
Well, what he did was
he
put the material first. And what's interesting about that is he's serving
deep on us.
Well, he's serving a bunch of different gods. He's serving the Netflix god, who wants who wants this
Charlie just infected all of us. Burn that mic.
Netflix wants teens to tune in. He needs 6-pack abs. He needs good-looking people.
I mean, dude.
He wanted to serve
right here, man. What do you want?
He wanted the like teen rom-com elements. He wanted the spooky to be more creepy and kooky than anything else. And if you look at other recent adaptations, a lot of other people failed where he really succeeded.
Well, like they've all get the same list, like you just ran down. There's like the check off list, the box
6-packs
to check up, and he sat there with this crazy fucking Edward Scissorhands hair, and he's like, okay, check, but he did not delve away from his kind of like his vision of things. Now, like I said, I don't want to give the wrong impression because I can be very hard on properties.
Ew, man.
It was not perfect. It was not perfect. Again, on the same hand that it was over too quick, it also was an episode too long for me. There were certain performances that I did not particularly love. Ellis, had this show been cast exclusively in pink, if Wednesday had been 8 feet tall and smiled from ear to ear the whole time like the girl from Smile, if it was centered in a Christian academy, it could not have been more wrong than Rob Zombie's Monsters was. What an Rob Zombie's Monsters I'm taking to court because it hurt me in my most private of private places. What a disaster that was.
It is.
I didn't even want to mention it. I didn't even want to mention it.
Well, it's punching
in the
down.
Context of this.
It's punching down. Wednesday is so much better that like to compare. That's comparing hot garbage with like a delicious soup. It's like, why are we comparing these two things?
Oh my goodness! Like there's a reason why I was in the alley. Yuck to that, I'll say. But as I was saying before, it's not perfect. It's just fun. It's fun, and the great thing is you're sitting there having fun and enjoying those moments. Meanwhile, the cast, they're playing it straight. That's what I particularly loved about this, which most of these adaptations get completely wrong because they always take it up. They take a moment, like a selfish moment, to look at the camera and kind of give a wink to say, "Hey, we're in on the joke too." Nah, dum. Don't be in the joke. Don't look at the camera and wink. You play it straight. You're gonna get your best reactions that way. Charlie, what's the best Christmas Carol out there?
Muppet Christmas Carol.
A Muppet Christmas Carol is the singular. I will fight you to death.
Not even fucking
Anyone
close.
who wants to argue with me about it, Muppet Christmas Carol is the best Christmas Carol there is. Michael Caine puts one of his best, finest performances out there. Charlie, why is it one of his best, finest performances?
He told them on day one. I'm playing this shit Shakespearean.
He refused to wink at the camera. He said, I am playing this straight. I realize there's going to be multiple performers on their knees with their hands jumped up a puppet's ass, but I am going to be playing it straight. And we got an outstanding product because of it.
Well, it elevated everything else.
Cavity search. That's exactly what Wednesday series does for us. They play it straight, and it's a hit. It is a hit. I have yet to see anybody who says they did not like it.
It's fucking tremendous.
Ellis, you contrarian son of a bitch. I love you. Thank goodness that we are officially in the Christmas season, because as my first gift of the season, I'm going to let that one go. I'm going to let it go without retribution, much the way Wednesday Addams would have doled out even Gomez Addams. Ooh, the stunt double is here. Charlie, watch the rest of it as soon as possible, because I'm very interested on your take.
Again, I can't really be awake more than 45 minutes without
That's all you
a
really
coughing
need.
fit.
An episode at a time, you're in good shape. But look, at anybody out there, if you have not caught it, go ahead and watch the whole damn thing, because Willow dropped today, so you're gonna have more homework assignments headed your way. Look, if you like the source material, I think you're very much going to like this adaptation and the central kind of starring light shown on Wednesday's black-hearted head. But that being said, Charlie is on the mend, so we don't want to take it too deep.
Yes,
but
just real quick.
Do us all that favor.
Do it. Do another favor.
No, it's talking to you.
Oh, fair enough. Help people in need get some goddamn money. So if you donate to Movember, some of the stuff you might get. Check out this Hulk Hogan patch designed by the one and only Ellis, because Hulk still rules.
Ellis. Good job, buddy.
You like Terminator? Well, I like you. You can get this brand new Terminator patch. This is a sticker version of it, but you'll get a patch version. Also will be shiny. Look at that. Boobs on a ghost. You want that in your life? Muncher, the new mascot. You love that. Hit me with a too sweet one time. Oh, look, it's a Long Island. Oh, look, it's Long Island again. But, John, now that I've shilled all my wares, I'm trying to give away free crap. What am I doing? John, there's only one way that we end each and every episode of USComicsCast.
Word.
It's a few steps, but they're very, very simple. Because first, you got to turn the power on. Then you got to turn that volume up. Then you got to tune Bad Mary in. Open up the window wide and scream out into the night sky. See, my space girl. We out.